Have you ever felt like you were standing in front of something precious, but didn't realize its value until much later? Like finding a pearl hidden in the bottom of a drawer, not knowing it was worth a fortune. That's exactly what this verse in the Bible is like. It's there, right in front of our eyes, but most people read it, move on, and never realize the weight it carries. And yet, this single verse has the power to transform not just your day, but the entire direction of your life. Today, I want to take you to a special moment, a moment when Jesus, without rushing, spoke words that would change everything for those who heard them. And that still echo today for anyone with ears and a heart to understand. I'm not talking about a famous miracle nor a parable we learned as children. No. I'm talking about something that goes unnoticed, like a whisper from heaven in the middle of the world's noise. I remember the first time I read this verse and realized what it meant. I was tired, worn out from trying to fix things in my own strength. I had prayed, but without expectation. I had read the Bible, but without expecting anything to leap from the page. Until one day, without planning, my eyes fell on these words, and it was as if a door had opened inside me. The verse is in one of the Gospels, but I won't reveal it yet. I want you to walk with me until we get there, because if I simply say it, you might not feel the weight. I want you, when you hear it, to understand the context, feel the scene, and almost see Jesus saying it, looking into your eyes. Picture a calm morning, the sun just beginning to turn the horizon gold, the scent of the sea in the air. In the distance, the voice of Jesus begins to speak, not with shouts or speeches. He speaks with such deep peace that the words seem to pierce the soul. You notice he's not saying it to impress, but so that each syllable is a key unlocking something within you. And the key to this verse is not just comfort, it's also an invitation. A call to a life that seems impossible to the human eye, but is real to those who believe. That's why so few understand. They pass by it like someone who sees a treasure and mistakes it for just another stone. Perhaps you're wondering, but what does this verse have to do with my life today? With my bills, my pain, my struggles? I tell you, everything. Because it speaks of a change that begins in the unseen, but sooner or later manifests in the seen. It speaks of rest in the middle of chaos, of strength where there is no energy left, of hope where only closed walls remain. And that's exactly what we're going to discover together. I want you, as we walk toward this verse, to allow yourself to feel. Picture Jesus beside you, walking in silence for a few minutes before speaking. Imagine his gaze, steady yet full of tenderness. He's about to say something you may have heard 1,000 times. But today you will hear it as if it were the first time. Because today, more than ever, you need to hear these words as a personal message, not as an ancient text, not as a distant story, but as if the Lord himself had reserved this moment for you. And in the next step of this journey, we will finally open this verse and understand why almost no one notices its true power. And here we are. We've walked together to this moment, and now it's time to open the page. The verse is in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. At first glance, it sounds simple, familiar, so familiar that many skip over it thinking they already understand it. But the truth is, most have never truly heard it. Let's break it down. Come to me. Jesus doesn't say, come to religion, or come to the rules, or come to a church building. He says, come to me. This is not about a system, it's about a person. It's an invitation to step away from the noise, the expectations, and even your own attempts to fix everything, and simply walk toward him. All you who are weary and burdened. He's talking to those carrying weights too heavy for human strength, weary not just in body but in soul, burdened not just by work or responsibilities, but by the invisible weight of fear, guilt, disappointment, or despair. The kind of heaviness that keeps you awake at night, replaying what went wrong, wondering if it will ever change. And I will give you rest. Not I might, not I'll think about it, but I will. This is a promise from the mouth of the one who never lies. But notice, he doesn't say he will remove every problem instantly. He says he will give rest, a deep, unshakable peace that exists even while storms rage around you. When I first understood this verse, it hit me like a wave. I realized I had been running towards solutions, plans, and even prayers that were more about asking for outcomes than about being with Him. But this verse is different. It doesn't start with do this or fix that. It starts with an embrace. Imagine Jesus looking directly into your eyes when He says this. His voice is gentle, but carries authority. He knows exactly what you've been carrying. He knows the battles no one else sees, and He's not asking you to clean yourself up before coming. He's saying, bring the mess, bring the pain, bring the failure, come as you are. Now here's where most people miss it. The power of this verse is not just in the comfort it offers, it's in the action it demands. You have to come. You have to decide to stop carrying what's crushing you and hand it over. This is not passive, it's intentional surrender. Think about the times you've tried to handle everything yourself. The exhaustion, the anxiety, the endless to-do list in your mind. And then think about the relief of finally dropping a heavy bag after carrying it for miles. That's what Jesus is talking about here. But for your soul. If you've been wondering why your prayers feel heavy or why faith feels more like pressure than peace, this verse might be the turning point. It's not about doing more, it's about letting go. And before we go deeper into the hidden meaning behind the word rest in the original language, a meaning that changes everything, I want to pause and ask you something. If this message has already stirred something in your heart, take a moment to subscribe, because the next part will unlock the part of this verse that almost no one talks about, and you need to hear it. The word translated as rest in Matthew 11:28 comes from the Greek anapausis. It's not just physical rest like lying in a hammock or taking a nap. Anapausis carries the idea of a rest that restores, that heals, that gives back strength, a rest that doesn't depend on external circumstances, but springs from within, like a well that never runs dry. This rest is different because it's not a temporary pause, it's an exchange. When Jesus says, I will give you rest, He's saying, I will take the weight that's crushing you and place on you something light, something you can carry. It's as if He's saying, give me the burden that's breaking you and take from me what will sustain you. But here's the part few understand. To receive this rest, you have to trust enough to let go of control. And that's hard, because we've been trained to believe we must hold the reins, plan everything, make sure nothing slips from our hands. But that kind of control is an illusion and a burden. I remember a woman who wrote to me after hearing this verse for the first time with this understanding. She was caring for a sick child alone, working 2 jobs, sleeping only 3 hours a night. When she heard, come to me, and I will give you rest, she cried. But it wasn't a cry of despair. It was the cry of someone who finally understood she didn't have to carry it alone. She told me, that night, for the first time in years, I slept without fear of waking up to find everything falling apart. I rested because I trusted. That's the power of anapausis. It's not magic, it's surrender. It's not the absence of problems, it's the presence of God. And it's precisely that presence that changes everything. Because when you walk with Jesus, the storms may continue outside, but inside you there is a safe harbor. Today, maybe you're living under the weight of debts, diagnoses, family conflicts, or emotional wounds no one sees. Maybe you've tried to distract yourself, to numb yourself, to pretend everything is fine. But Jesus isn't asking you to hide anything. He's asking you to bring it all. And I want you right now to close your eyes for a moment and imagine placing in His hands what tires you the most. Literally imagine giving Him that weight. Feel the relief. Feel the space that opens inside you when that burden leaves. That space is where peace will enter. And if this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone you know is tired, someone at the breaking point. Write in the comments, I gave my burden. This will be a declaration of faith, and you never know who might be touched by your testimony. Because the most overlooked verse in the Bible is not just a beautiful text, it's a living, open, real invitation. Today, Jesus still says, come to me, and I will give you rest. And the only question that remains is, will you accept this invitation?